Not very many people watch my woodworking videos. Maybe it's because I'm not a woodworker and don't really know what I'm doing, but I am learning and things are actually working. This video is action-packed, so you don't want to go skipping through it because you're going to miss something. It picks up where we left off 2 videos ago on the rustic barn door build. If you guys have any suggestions, comments, advice on things that I'm doing, please leave them in the comment section. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. And if you could, click that like button. I don't want to overdo it, so it's just getting a light sanding. It will be a very subtle effect. Since this is so rough and the grooves are deep, your standard tack cloth really isn't going to get in there and get the dust out. I mean, it'll get a little bit off, but what I'm going to need to do is go through and blow all the dust out with air. Other than the air, you can use like a paintbrush to try to get in there and get all the dust out. I'll do all 3. I'll blow it out, I'll sweep it out, I'll even tack it off before I spray this with lacquer. I just stuck all these together, trying to get an idea of what it's going to look like. Once it gets lacquered, it'll really seal things up and make it look better. Kind of the beauty of working with a reclaimed wood look or weathered look is it's not fine carpentry. It's not, you know, the furniture that you see in the store. In fact, I'm actually going to take a rag with a bunch of sockets in it and randomly go over it and dent it up. But first I gotta flip these over and sand the other side. This is a close-up of what the wood looks like after I just sanded, and all this haze that you see there is sawdust. So I'm going to show you what it does, what it looks like when I blow all these grooves out. I got both rooms now set up for staining. I'm finally done with the wired wheel to get this to the look that I want. So I'm just trying to brush the dust off. I've already vacuumed it.
So right now I'm just kind of getting into the grooves and sweeping out any of the dust. And I will not sand it until I get the stain on there. And I'm not sure if that's needed or not. Because I know when I sand it after, I can take the top ridges off and expose lighter stained wood. But I also know if I did that beforehand, it would have a similar effect. That the stain wouldn't soak in to the smooth sanded surfaces. But I know sanding after works. As I do more and more of this, I will experiment and learn some different methods that may be more efficient and have better results.
Now, because it's going to take me so long to go around, and I don't want this stain sitting on here too long, I'm going to just do a section at a time and then wipe it clean. Good so far. It's a real close match to what I've got going on in the other room. Having this table waxed makes cleaning it up real easy.
I mean, look pretty good.
I just moved the first section of these tongue and groove boards out to that room, and these are the last pieces that need to be stained and lacquered, well, outside of the actual face frames. One of these boards is not like the other. See if you can pick out the oddball. Not sure what the camera quality is, but one of these boards may end up as firewood. Alright, I won't make it wait any longer. It's this one here. Because this one here is going to turn out looking like this board here. Super dark with these big circle patterns. Now, this has got tight grains stacked up to it. This is this big, wide open, swooping circles. This one here has the tight grains, and tight grains. So these four are going to be consistent with those four. This one here is going to end up looking like that one. So I'm going to pull this one out and not even waste time seeing what it looks like. Now you might be wondering why the heck I even bought that board, or both those boards, if I knew what the heck I was doing. And I guess the answer is I just wasn't paying attention. Just was trying to get straight boards is what I was originally after, and I just really wasn't paying attention to the grain pattern. But these things are the most affordable tongue and groove boards that you can purchase at Home Depot. They've got these fake weathered and reclaimed wood for sale at Home Depot now, and they are expensive. When I was there, there was a guy that was wheeling a cart, and I said, "Hey, what's on that cart?" And it was a pallet of reclaimed wood, faux reclaimed wood. The boards were roughly 36 inches long, about 3 feet long. They had a gray pattern on it, and they were $180 for 20 square feet, which is kind of insane. That's a 2-foot by 10-foot section. Almost what you see here. $180 for what you see here is almost 20 square feet. Actually, that's 5, 10, 15, 20. 20 by 8. Someone do the math on that. This will give you a finished area of 20 inches by 96 inches. And the stuff, I didn't get a close look at it, but it was a very thin material. This is just a scotch under 3/4 of an inch. It's pretty decent, and it's as I've had it in my possession, it hasn't started twisting or warping on me. Now, I did have to get them to pull down a brand new bunk, and they have a number on the bunk. If you're ever at Home Depot and you're looking up top, they've got a big number that tells you how many are in that bunk. And out of 42, I went through every single one and was able to pick out 10 straight ones. So that might tell you that you got to do a little extra work. And I have done this a lot of times. There may be 30 on the rack in the store that have obviously been picked through, and they are twisted as can be. And this can be from a 2x4 to an oak baseboard or tongue and groove planks like this, and I'll track them down and say, hey, can you get me down a new bunk so I can pick out some wood? And most of the time, it's rare that I have anybody give me any troubles, any sighing or hemming and hawing or go griping about it. So don't be afraid to ask for a fresh bunk when you're trying to build something nice out of affordable material that you can get off the shelf at Home Depot, Lowe's, or Menards. I shop at Menards a lot. A lot of people aren't familiar with Menards because they only operate in a few states, and I'm lucky enough to have one close by. Going into Menards is like going into a brand new toy store that you have never been into before. It is so different. The products, the layout, the people. I'd have to say this: the nicest people I've ever seen at a home improvement store work at Menards. I haven't shown any of the lacquering process yet, just because it's so repetitive. This is the last section of the tongue and groove that needs to get lacquered. I've got the first 4, both sides already done out there. So I'm just going to set you up and show you what I'm using and how I'm spraying this. This is the lacquer that I'm using. This is the spray gun that I'm using. It's the spray gun I use for just about everything. The HomeRite Finish Max Extra. I'll put a link to this in the description. So after these are all done, then I have to do each face frame. And you can see I don't have stain on the edge yet, because once this thing is fully assembled, I'm going to run it through the table saw to get all the edges perfect. Then they'll get stained, and I'll just lacquer the edges, and then it'll be done. The reason that I'm doing every piece individually, the face frames and all these boards, instead of just putting it together and staining it or lacquering it once it's all done, is because on such a large door like this, things are going to shift around, especially with humidity. They will expand and contract. And as these boards move or they shrink in and out of the face frame, there'll be a lip where the lacquer would have been sprayed if I had waited till the very end to spray everything at once. So that's why I'm staining and lacquering each individual piece separately. I open up the garage door just about this much, leave it for 5 to 10 minutes, then I come back and put the heater on in here for another 10 minutes, and then by that time it's ready for a sand and another coat. So now that I've sanded it, you can see there's a little layer of dust on there. A tack cloth isn't going to do that great of a job getting it out because there's so many little crevices and grooves in here. The only way to remove all that dust is to blow it out with air. Alright, this is the second coat. Well, this has already been sanded and it's ready for lacquer. It needs to get all dusted off. I'll do that with the air compressor and the air nozzle. It's almost time to put everything together, but I am 1 inch large on all my tongue and grooves going together, so I'm going to take a 1/2 inch off of each end board. Just got started putting in all the boards, and this is a close-up of how I built this thing. So these inlay into this face frame, and the other face frame will just go over the top and sit right on that. Right now I'm just nailing all these in. That's what it's going to look like. Now I got to peel this back and glue and clamp it all. It's time to glue this thing up. Just using Tight Bond 2 premium wood glue, interior, exterior, water resistant. And I got to get it on there. I don't have too much time, so I'm going to be squirting out quite a bit of it and wiping it on to try to get a full even bit of coverage all the way around, and pick this thing up and drop it down and then clamp it on. I have it supported so that it's straight. So I sight down the end of it here and kept moving the blocks around until there was not a bow or dip or anything like that, so that when this does get laminated together, it should stay straight, hopefully. I just pulled all the clamps off. I let it sit for an entire day, and tomorrow should be the last, I guess, day of working on it. What I do for a lot of my projects, you probably haven't seen on camera much, is I make a list. I've got a whiteboard in here, and I also keep one in my trailer. But I write down each step in certain sections, and then I write an estimated time that it's going to take me in minutes. And those are just goals. And then I tally everything up, and I got 400 minutes left in this as a ideal goal. Most likely it'll take me longer than that, but at each phase that I'm going through this, to stay on pace and stay efficient, I kind of constantly refer to this to say, okay, clean up. I've got 30 minutes. So I got to clean this whole place up in order to run this giant door through this table saw on both edges. It might not take me that long, but that's just an idea of how I stay efficient with all my projects, just working as one man.